the light that doesn't reflect. In the Hakuba Mountains, where the snow never melts, even in summer, there stood an old village long forgotten on maps. The people there lived cut off from the world, beyond the mountain passes where the fog was as thick as milk. But even on the darkest nights, they never lit lanterns, only faint candles hidden behind paper screens. The reason was simple. In that village, light could kill. The Lost Hunter. A young hunter named Inoue Ren returned home late. When he entered the village, the streets were empty. Only the wind rattled the bamboo shutters. He frowned. Usually the elders would be chanting their evening prayers by now. Ren opened the door of his house, and his mother rushed toward him, pale as snow. You had a torch." "Of course," he said. "I crossed the pass. You can't see a thing without light." His mother fell to her knees. "Put it out, quickly. If the light remains, she will come." Ren didn't understand, but he obeyed. The flame died, and the house fell into darkness, only the faint glow of embers trembling in the hearth. "Who is she?" he asked. His mother didn't answer. She only whispered, "Never light a fire in the mountains. The light calls to her." The next day, the village elder told Ren a story. Long ago, there lived a woman named Ohagi, a beauty from a family of blacksmiths. Her skin was white as snow, her hair blacker than a raven's wing. She crafted mirrors for the moon goddess's shrine. But one day, one of her mirrors cracked, and darkness took root inside it. Ohagi vanished soon after, and then people began to disappear. Always those who lit a light at night. By morning, they were found, their faces gone, their skin smooth and pale like porcelain. They said a demon wearing Ohagi's form would emerge from mirrors whenever she saw the flicker of firelight, to steal faces and become human again. A week later, two strangers arrived in the village, a young huntress in a white cloak and a tall man wearing a kitsune mask. They introduced themselves, Kanaya and Shiro, disciples of the Demon Slayer Corps. "We heard that your people live without light. That's not living. The demon feeds on your fear. We'll put an end to it." Ren felt a strange excitement. Since childhood he had dreamed of joining the Corps, but his father had been killed by a demon, and his mother had forbidden even the word. "I want to help," he said. "I know these mountains better than anyone." Kanaya looked at him closely. "Then don't light a flame unless I tell you. The demon reacts to fire." They climbed the mountain where the ruined shrine stood. The sun was sinking low, and mist coiled around the trees like living smoke. Upon the altar lay a mirror covered in frost. Shiro knelt and whispered, "Feel that. This isn't an ordinary demon. It's ancient." Suddenly, the mirror's surface rippled like water, and in it appeared Kanai's reflection, but with hollow, black eyes. Then she stepped out. The woman's body was laced with cracks, as though her porcelain mask might shatter at any moment. In her hands were shards of glass that pulsed with pale, ghostly light. "Give me back my face," she whispered. "I'm beautiful, aren't I?" Kanae leapt forward, breathing of the flower, third form, dewdrop slash. Her sword carved a gleaming arc through the air, but the light of her blade reflected in the demon's mirror, and the attack came back almost just as fast. Shiro managed to block it, but the strike tore into his shoulder. "She reflects everything through the light," Kanae shouted. "We have to fight in darkness." They extinguished their lanterns, but the mirror still glowed, cold, lunar, and alive. Ren stood nearby, frozen with indecision. Then he remembered. Never light a fire in the mountains. The light calls to her. But she was already here. Maybe light could destroy her if turned against her. He grabbed a flint and struck a spark. A torch flared to life. "And Latier! Ren, no!" cried Kanae. Too late. The demon shrieked. The mirror's glow and the torch flame intertwined into a blinding storm. The world flashed white as dawn. When the light faded, Kanae awoke. Ren lay beside her, unconscious. The demon was gone. Only the shattered mirror remained. They descended to the village. The people greeted them in silence, afraid to believe it was over. Shiro stared at the shards. The demon isn't dead. It just moved to another reflection. Kanae looked down at Ren, still asleep, his face pale but peaceful. And yet, something inside her twisted with unease. 3 days passed. Ren woke, but his eyes had turned silver, like mirrors. "Kanae," he whispered, "I can see her. When it's dark, she calls to me." "Who?" "The woman in the mirror. She says I gave her light." He suddenly stood up, and in that moment his skin rippled like water. For an instant, Kanae saw another face beneath his own, pale, cracked, and smiling. "Give me my face." Kanae drew her sword, but Ren was already gone, vanishing into the mirror-like shimmer of a rain puddle. A month later, the village was in darkness once again. People whispered that, at night, they saw the face of a young man with silver eyes in their mirrors. He called their names softly, those who dared to look. Kanae returned alone. In the shrine, she found the same mirror. Now its cracks formed a pattern that looked like a human smile. She lit a candle and whispered, "Forgive me, Ren. You only wanted to help." Then she raised her sword and struck. The candle flame flared, the reflection trembled, and for a heartbeat she saw Ren's face smiling at her, alive again. He whispered, "Thank you. Now I can see the light." The mirror crumbled into ash. Years passed. The Demon Slayer Corps recorded it as the Mirror Demon Incident of Hakuba. But a legend remains. If, at night, in an old house, you light a candle and see not your own reflection in the mirror, put out the light before it's too late.